Welcome to Fathers Feed by Example, Module 3, Real Food, Real Dads, and Real Impact. In this module, we're going to be talking about feeding your kid at every stage of life. Okay, your kid at 2 years old is not the same as your kid at 12 years old, right? If you try feeding them the same way, just with different volume at each of these stages, you're going to get pretty frustrated fast, right? This module is about adjusting your approach without overcomplicating it. Toddlers don't eat like adults. I mean, you know that, but think about it. Toddlers are small, unpredictable, and they're constantly changing. Some days they're going to eat everything on their plate and ask for seconds. Some days they're going to survive on what seems to be like 2 crackers and some air. That's normal for a toddler, okay? Their stomachs are small, so they eat much smaller amounts more frequently. So you don't expect full structured meals every time. Your job is pretty simple. You just want to keep offering real food. Their job is to figure out what they're going to eat. If you keep it simple and keep it safe, okay, toddlers need to eat what you're eating. You just prepare it a little bit differently. You cut it smaller. Maybe at certain ages you need to soften it, make it safe for them to put in their mouths and chew and swallow. That's really it. You don't need separate kid food, right? You need the same food in a form that they can handle. And if you start them early on real meals, that's going to become their normal. And I want to point out that picky eating isn't really a problem, right? Like almost all kids go through a picky eating phase. Toddlers and young kids are going to want to reject foods that maybe they even liked last week. That's a part of development. It's not a failure on your part. And it's not something you want to force them through, all right? You don't want to react. Don't panic. Don't start swapping meals out. You just got to keep putting real food in front of them. Calm repetition is what's going to win here. All right, school-age kids need fuel. Once kids hit that age, their world expands, and so does their need for fuel. They're learning, they're playing, growing, and they're burning energy literally all day long. That means real meals are going to matter even more here. Breakfast, it matters. Lunch, it matters. Snacks in between meals really matter. And if they're running on junk, you're going to see it. You're going to see it in their mood, their energy, their focus levels, their grades, their ability to perform well in school. All of that is going to be affected by what they're eating. One thing that you have to learn how to do early is to let them start taking ownership over their meals. So as kids get older, start letting them take a little control in different ways. Let them help pack their school lunches. Let them choose between real options to put into their lunch bag. Let them build their plate. This is a great one I tell a lot of dads. At a certain age, usually around 3, you can put food into serving dishes and allow the kids to serve themselves how much of the rice they want, how much of the steak, how much of the vegetables. Let them put the food on their plates themselves, right? You're still setting the standard, but now they're learning how to operate inside of it. And that's how you raise a kid who can feed themselves well later. All right, teens eat more. This seems dumb to point it out, but teenagers are in full growth mode. Okay, they're going to eat more, and by more I mean a lot more. That's not the problem. What they eat and how frequently they eat is really the problem. Right? If your house is built on real food, they're going to eat more of that. If it's built on junk, they're going to double down on that. And even if you just have a small amount of junk available, they may still lean towards the junk whenever possible. So just make sure you're stocking your house with real food. Don't restrict their appetite. Let them eat as much as they want of those real food items. You just guide the options. The rules don't change based on the age of the child. The portions do. A toddler is going to eat small amounts. A teenager might eat like a grown man, and that's fine. You don't want to lower the quality of food just because they're eating more, right? You got to keep the standard the same. If the 13-year-old son wants to eat 12 apples, let him eat 12 apples, right? Let the quantity of the healthy food adjust and not try to compensate with other types of foods. Another really important one, and I can't stress this enough to parents of teenagers start skipping meals all on their own, right? They get too busy in their heads with whatever's going on in their lives, and they end up skipping meals, and that almost always backfires, right? If they skip breakfast, they're going to crash later, and then they're going to end up overeating junk, all right? You want to keep meals consistent. Put the food on the plate and put it in front of them. Even something simple is better than nothing. Structure still matters for teenagers, even when maybe they act like it doesn't. My closing thoughts on this are really that your approach should grow with your child, right? But your standards themselves, in terms of what you're bringing into the house for food, should not. Keep real food in front of them. real food in the fridge, real food in the pantry, real food in the cupboards, right? Keep things simple. Stay consistent, and they're going to go through different phases. They're going to test things. They're going to push back on you sometimes. That's fine. You stay steady anyways. You're not just feeding them for today. You're teaching them how to eat for the rest of their lives. And that is how fathers feed by example.